everyone, I'm Taryn with Wonderfully Made Handcrafting, and today we're going to talk about 3 different kinds of journaling Bibles. We're going to talk about the single column journaling Bible, the illustrating Bible, and the Interleaved Bible. Now, when I started Bible journaling 3.5 years ago, I was a little confused about which one would be best for me. So through this video, I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of each one and what I like and dislike about them. So stay to the end because there is a giveaway, so you won't want to miss out. So here are the instructions at the end of this video. Okay guys, the first Bible we're going to talk about is the single column journaling Bible. Now this is the brand Journal the Word, and so I know there are multiple different single column journaling Bibles. I know there's also double column journaling Bibles, but this is the only one I have to show you. I did have 2 of these Bibles. This is what I started off with, and I'll show you kind of the reasons why I started with this one. I really liked this one. It only had 2-inch margins, and so I know it's hard to believe, but I had trouble filling in things when I first started. I didn't know how I was going to fill up so much space, and so this was a really great Bible to start with. It also takes watercolor beautifully. The paper does really well with watercolor, at least in this brand, and so that was also a really good benefit because most of these entries ended up being primarily watercolor and faux calligraphy. And so I really appreciate that this Bible does take watercolor well. You can also use a different kind of water-based materials with it, and it does well, and the paper doesn't like bead up or get rough. So that was a benefit to me as I started Bible journaling. Some of the cons is that you only have 2 inches. And so I started getting a little bit more confident in my Bible journaling. And so I kind of started moving over the words. And so I can still read through this because this is just watercolor and stamping. But if you have an issue with covering up the words, I know many people do, this may not be the Bible for you. Also, something that's a little bit of a hindrance is that it is lined. It is lightly lined. I know there's other journaling Bibles that are heavier lined, but this one isn't too noticeable. And they also have yellow tinged pages. So I know a lot of artists don't appreciate that. And so that can be a setback as well. Now, if you are wanting to expand your Bible journaling and art, you can use clear sticker paper because you can read through the lines if that is an issue for you. So that is another option. Another kind of negative is it does have a fixed spine. So, you know, it doesn't have that spiral bound spine like the illustrating Bible. You can also use tip-ins to make more room. That's something I started doing. And there's also many different translations. So when I first started journaling, I really wanted a KJV translation. Now I'm using ESV for my study Bible. So I like those too. But there are so many different options for Journal the Word Bibles and other single column journaling Bibles. Now, looking at these kind of make me reminisce on doing just the simple journaling entries, which I really like. I loved the faux calligraphy and watercoloring. It kind of makes me want to try them again. And as you can see here, I did start using some By the Well for God journaling kits when I first started Bible journaling. This was my first kit. And what's cool is that it is not my style at all now, but I can appreciate it, and it's so fun to look back at these. And I did like my clear embossing powder because I stamped and used clear embossing powder on them. You can also watercolor or use, I believe this was what are they called? Wow, why can't I think right now? They're not Neocolor tubes. Gelatos. Thank you. My brain wasn't working. You can use gelatos through these as well. I have since stopped using gelatos. I actually gave them to my daughter to use because I prefer Neocolor tubes. But both watercolors and gelatos work great through this Bible. So this was a great one to start off with. I did keep all my tabs in this one just because I liked how it looked and it was fun. I could have added a lot more entries to this, especially if I took my tabs off. Like if I was going to go through another Bible like this, I definitely chunk it out more. But this, like I said, was more so of just my beginner Bible for journaling, and it housed a lot of watercolor and faux calligraphy. And so that is what this one ended up looking like. Okay guys, so the next journaling Bible I want to talk to you about is the Illustrating Bible. This Bible is spiral bound. It's probably the most aesthetically pleasing Bible they make as a journaling Bible. And since it is spiral bound, you can add a ton of chunk to all the pages. So I have a lot of beads, buttons, fabric, layers, chipboard, all throughout this Bible. So that is definitely a plus to this Bible. And it also has white pages. A lot of the journaling Bibles have that cream or yellow tone to the pages. So it's great to have a white page that you can actually see the true ink colors through. So that is definitely a benefit to this page. You also don't have to cover the whole page like this. You can just do the 4-inch margins, which was definitely a plus for me when I was moving from a single column journaling Bible to the Illustrating Bible. I only had to expand it by 4 inches, not the whole entire page. It also, look at all this fun chunk. So this was probably where my love of chunk and layers come from when I started using this Illustrating Bible. Some of the cons of this Bible is that it doesn't hold water well at all. So you have to be very careful if you were to use watercolors, or if you add too much water with your distress oxides, it can kind of like pill up the paper. And so just be very careful as you work through water. Also, you don't have any options for translations really. Right now, the one that they have just created is an NIV translation. Now, I'm just not an NIV girl. It's not my favorite translation. And but at the same time, I don't use these for my study Bibles, so it's not a huge deal. I would just prefer a translation that I do like. This one is actually a CSB. It's an older Illustrating Bible with that emerald green cover. So if you can find one of those, that is CSB. Otherwise, you have NIV translation to pick from. It is a fairly expensive Bible. It is $100. Usually, a lot of times they will have it on sale, and they do have one that is just Psalms and Proverbs. I believe they have one that's Matthew, and they have a brand new one that's the Gospels. So those are some of your options for an Illustrating Bible. And let me think of any other cons. The only other thing I have to say is that since it has holes in the paper, you just have to be careful when flipping through it. Obviously, don't let your kids just rip through it, because then you might have torn pages. But that's kind of like with any Bible. And the only other thing too that people don't like is that the names of the books of the Bible are vertical and down and fairly large and a little bit hard to cover. So you kind of just have to work something around it if you don't want to see it. So I've covered up a lot of mine with different clusters of ephemera. So it's something you can work on around if you don't like that. So that is the Illustrating Bible. If you want a little bit more room to work in, let's go show you the Interleaved Bible. Okay, the last Bible I have to show you is the Interleaved Bible. This one is by Crossway, and it is obviously a regular spine, and I don't hold back on any of the chunk, so this is what it looks like. This Bible holds between 40 and 50 entries for me because I add so much chunk. If you don't like adding that much chunk, then it'll hold a lot more. I forgot to mention that the Illustrating Bible I have does hold about 75 entries. So the Illustrating Bible definitely holds more, but I find that these are usually cheaper. So for me to get a new Bible doesn't cost as much, and so I like working through these ones right now. So let me show you a couple of my entries. These Bibles are what started me in my Bible journaling style, I would say. I'd say my style is vintage and antique, but also adding a bunch of chunk, layers, and fabric. These are my favorite kind of things, and so this is what kind of pushed me towards that. When I first started using Interleaved Bible, I was a little scared to fill up a whole page. It just felt like so much, and so that was a little tricky for me. But that's honestly what pushed me forward into my style. So you do have to work with cream colored pages in these Interleaved Bibles. They're not as yellow as the Journal the Word Bible, but you definitely have cream colored pages. So if that is bothersome to you, then either cover them up like I do, or you might just not want this Bible. It does take mixed media really well, so I can use watercolors, distress oxides. This is Nuvo Embellishment Mousse. Check that out in the back of this video. You'll see something. And texture paste works great, fabric, everything. So I love these Bibles because the pages just work really well with them. This is one of my favorite pages I've ever done, and I did create a ton of mixed media in the back of this page, and it does have bleed through in the back. Now, I don't care about bleed through in my Interleaved Bible because I rarely went to Bible journal or something and needed to use the back side of a page. And if I had, I probably would just skip to another page next to it to use. But you could also cover this up with some white acrylic paint or gesso, so that just doesn't bug me. You also have so many different options for Interleaved Bibles. For translation, this one, like I said, is ESV and what I like right now, but there's so many different options. Here is my last one. You have some texture paste you see here with a bunch of different splatters from Dina Wakley Gloss Spray. These are usually a really good price, and so I love working through them. So that is all my kind of pros and cons about the 3 Bibles that I've worked through. Make sure you keep on watching for some instructions on the giveaway. Hi guys, I know you've been waiting to hear about this giveaway and I can't wait to show you it. But first off, let me talk about the instructions. Number 1, you have to be subscribed to my YouTube channel to be entered into this giveaway. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. The second thing you're going to have to do is comment down below on this video on what your favorite journaling Bible is. Is that the Interleaved, the Illustrating, or the single column Bible, or maybe something I didn't even discuss today. So make sure you comment down below with what your favorite journaling Bible is. This giveaway is going to close on Wednesday, August 4th at 11:59 Eastern Standard Time. Unfortunately, it is only open to U.S. residents. It is just way too expensive to send internationally right now. And for what I'm giving away, I just can't do that easily. So the winner will be announced on August 5th. I'm going to comment down below on this YouTube video and also over on my Instagram account at Wonderfully Made Handcrafting. So what am I giving away, guys? So I am giving away 4 different Nuvo Embellishment Mousses. These work great. They're kind of like a texture paste, except they are colored and have an iridescent kind of sheen to them. So they're really fun to use. But what if you don't have anything to use them in? I am giving away a brand new ESV Interleaved Journaling Bible. This is the same kind of Bible I am using right now, and I have loved it. So I can't wait to see what one of you gets to do with this journaling Bible and the embellishment mousses. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Make sure you like it and subscribe to my channel. Also, comment down below if you want to be entered into the giveaway. And we'll talk to y'all soon, guys. Bye.